Hello and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about our favorite TV show, Survivor. This week we are recapping episode 7 of Survivor 45. But before we get into that, Maddie, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just living life. I'm looking forward to, by the time this comes out, my apartment will be decorated for Christmas. And I'm very excited about it. I am a Christmas before Thanksgiving person, and that's okay. It brings me joy.
That's why we get along so well, because I love Christmas. I love the holiday season. My favorite time of year. It is the best time of the year, no doubt, no question.
Yeah, some of my coworkers do not feel the same way. One of them told me that they showed me this little meme, and it was like, every time someone puts up their Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving, Santa unalives an elf. And my boss was like, I heard that it was every time someone puts up their Christmas tree before Thanksgiving, a reindeer dies. And I was like, what are you guys on? Can I have my moment? Can I be happy?
Can we not just be in the spirit?
Yeah. So they're anti-Christmas. That's fine. Period.
Are you going to ask me how I am?
Oh. No, because I actually don't care.
Great, so let's just get into
it. Wait. I actually have something that we need to talk about. You have upset one of our viewers to the point where she doesn't want to listen anymore because she's upset with you. I don't know if you recall your blonde-haired blind freak comment, but a listener by the name of Lottie is very upset with you. I think you need to issue the first Making Fire podcast apology.
God, this isn't like me. I've never done something like this. This is not my character.
Where's the ukulele? Can it be a song?
The toxic gossip train. Lottie, I will not let you gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss me. I'm not gonna let you. I'm talking to you, Lottie. I'm not gonna let you try to control my mind. I said what I said, and I don't take it back. Blonde hair, blue-eyed freak.
That's not gonna go over well.
Lottie JK.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Do you want to tell the audience who Lottie is for the people who don't know?
No. She can remain anonymous.
She'll remain anonymous. It's okay.
She doesn't have social media, so she's fine.
Well, I'm doing really good.
How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm on a chicken kick. Chicken is my favorite meat. Maddie doesn't like chicken. I love it. And I've been craving Wingstop is my new obsession. I've been craving wings. So I had Wingstop for dinner. That was so good. The mall nearest to us opened up a new chain, Jollibee. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it.
Jollibee just opened at the mall, and it's so yummy. And I went with my friend yesterday to have it for dinner, so I'm just kind of in like my little chicken wing era. But
I feel like you're always in your chicken era.
I am. I could, if I had to pick one protein, it would be chicken. I know that's not your fave, but
it's fine.
What's your fave protein?
That's a good question.
You're not really a protein girl.
No. I've been really into this spicy salami lately to put on sandwiches. So I've been into that. I don't know. Like, I think my favorite meat would be specifically the short ribs from Din Tai Fung, if you're familiar.
If I'm familiar, or
it's
like
just
the
audience? Generally, the audience.
I'm familiar.
I love them.
They are good. Well, I'm glad we can come to terms on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into episode 7. This is our first episode fully merged tribe. Oh my gosh. I just realized I don't know what the merged tribe name is. I forgot to write that down.
I also forgot. It's kind of long.
Do you want to look it up while I'm introducing the episode, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just are getting off of the crazy tribal where Caleb used a shot in the dark, negated 12 votes. And it's kind of iconic. Never happened. The social media was really hyped it up. It is a really great move, so I'm excited we got to watch it. But that's where we're starting the episode. We're coming back from that tribal. We see a new merged tribe with the name
Dakuwaka.
Dakuwaka.
Yes, it says the name is Dakuwaka. It's interesting spelling. It was a deleted scene where Kelly is the one who came up with the name. I have no idea what it means.
Interesting. Well, that's super fun for them. I love the orange color. I love the orange merge. I don't think we see orange merge tribes a lot, so
It's a good color.
It is a good color.
It really stands out.
It does. I love orange.
But then it still feels like beachy.
Yes. Yeah, so we're all merged. We're coming back from the tribal. Caleb is quick to throw out sort of respect to the vote, respect to the move. He wants people to know he's not mad at them, that he appreciates the gameplay. Would you come back this accepting of the move of 12 people just voting you out, including your closest allies?
I think I would be petty, but I think I'd just be like, wow, you guys really all tried to vote me out and it didn't work. That's so funny.
Rub it in their faces a little bit.
Be like a little messy, but also play nice. But also, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Rub it in their faces a little bit, for sure.
I love being messy. It's so good. But I think not to jump forward, we obviously know nothing that he does this episode works out for him, but I think it was smart in the moment not to point fingers at anybody. So I think at the moment it made sense. We hear from Austin, who points out that he doesn't think people are putting 2 and 2 together that he did not vote last night. He said Drew maybe, and we all know Drew is known for being the mastermind. I'm sure he was able to figure that one out. Nobody's really...
I think he got lucky in that everyone was so caught up in the moment. I don't think enough people were really counting, especially once it got toward the end and they just kept going. I think he got lucky, but also, yeah, I don't think anyone put that together.
I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like a couple times this episode, it's brought up that the number was 12. Like, it was 12 votes. I think Jeff says it at Tribal, even, like, at the challenge, maybe. Caleb and the other people are like, 12 votes? I don't think 12 votes. I would be hearing that number 12 and be like, was there not 13 of us? Or what? Is there not 14 of us? Because there's 12 plus Caleb and Austin. So there would have been 14. So it should have been 13. Does that make sense? That girl math? 12?
Was it? Because I know there were...
Austin and Caleb didn't vote.
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 plus the 12 that were actually cast against Caleb. So it should have been 13.
13, yeah.
Votes in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
There was only 12, so I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. It's just the moment people were caught up and they're like so excited that they're not really like, realizing.
Obviously,
numbers
Caleb
of it.
didn't vote, so there's gonna be a number off.
Yeah, which girl math. Yeah. We have another scene tonight before we wake up in the morning. Bruce and Katurah are talking in front of the Reba people, and Bruce basically calls out Katurah in front of them, trying to stir up some paranoia, and that pisses Katurah off. She's like, why is he doing that? Bruce is just a little pot stirrer.
I think it's kind of fun because he has been annoying, not intentionally, but
Mm.
clearly rubbing everyone the wrong way. And so for him to be doing it intentionally now is 10 times funnier.
I think it's really interesting. We get a lot of Bruce's paranoia this episode. Just it's everywhere, and so it's really interesting to me. I don't know. I feel like it's rare to have somebody who so intentionally causes paranoia in others to also suffer from extreme cases of paranoia. I'm like, can you not just like get a grip with reality just for a hot second?
And for so many people to want to protect him.
It's so interesting.
Kelly keeps, I mean, we can get to this later as well, but Kelly just keeps going on about how she needs him as a number and she's his number one ally and all of these things. And I'm like, he seems like more of a problem
For
than
you.
a number. Like, get rid of him and start working with other people.
My fear if I was Kelly, who is playing a great under the radar game in my opinion at the moment. This was really I wrote this somewhere in my notes, but this was really Kelly and Jake. Obviously the vote doesn't work out in Jake's favor, but I feel like this is really Kelly and Jake's episode to shine. We got a lot of content from both of them. Content kinds of content we haven't really seen from them yet this season, so I was excited. But I think Kelly is playing a good under the radar game, and I feel like my fear would be working with somebody like Bruce, who's a very clear target, very clear shield, and very clear leader. Is that in a situation where Kelly and Bruce end up at a final tribal council, or oftentimes people rarely cut the head off the snake. They do the people that are working with the head of the snake, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't want to be an under the radar person behind Bruce. It makes sense, like if she is strategically using him as a number, but he obviously doesn't like want to commit to her in that way. And so my fear would be I get cut because people want to cut people working with Bruce instead of actually cutting Bruce out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this confessional was in the morning. It may have been. I think it was still that night, but I thought it was silly. Katora said something along the lines of, I could be having the best day of my life, and then the thorn of my thumb, Bruce, like comes in and ruins it. It's just their hatred for each other. I like that it's an equal hatred. Usually I feel like it's pretty one-sided, but I love the equal hatred.
Yeah. I also, with the Katura Bruce drama continuing to build up, I feel like just skipping forward a little bit, going into Tribal, I almost knew that it wasn't going to be Bruce because there's no way they let the storyline end that way.
Yeah. There has to be some sort of like one of them is going to have to get the other out. Like there's no way I don't see it happening any other way.
Yeah. Like it's just interesting that I felt so confident. I was like, this is not Bruce's time to go. And I just know that because like otherwise whoever's editing this is making really poor choices.
It's interesting because they're not on the same level either. Like why does Bruce hate Katura so much? I get well, I don't know, because I feel like it initially starts as Katura hating Bruce, and then Bruce hates Katura because Katura hates Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And so I don't think it starts off as a mutual hatred, but Katura is clearly on the bottom of the game. And so Bruce having such a vendetta against her is so odd to me because I'm like, Bruce, whether you know it or not, you have a lot of power, kind of. Like, you have a lot of people who are willing to stand next to you where Katura doesn't have anybody. So it's
No.
it's interesting that this is the person you're deciding that you're going to have the most beef with.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, but what do I know? What do I know? We now I think we're getting up in the morning, and Emily is trying to talk with Caleb and figure out sort of where to go next. You know, we talked heavily about this last episode, but the position Emily's now in of having flipped on her closest ally, and her sort of having to figure out what's next with that.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting how she talks more about how Austin and Drew seem like a better path forward for her. And post that tribal with Caleb, she just doesn't seem as into Kemily as much. It's more like a thing that's there, but she doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
if that's necessarily her best option anymore. And I thought that was just like interesting to watch.
It's kind of sad because we had so much time with them as a duo, but just like Lulu in general, that um, we get to know them and we support them as a duo, but they spent a couple important cycles separated from each other just for like their own personal developments, and it kind of just happened that they naturally are working with different people in the game. Um, but it's nice they can at least seemingly be like cordial about it, like at least Emily's like, oh, like I feel like she gets that she's working with the Rebas and he's working with the Bellows, and like as much as they would like to do something together, that it's probably not going to work out that way. So it's good that it seemed like a smooth transition sort of away from that.
They broke up, but they're still friends.
Exactly, like besties for the resties.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so people want to work with Caleb and Bruce, but Caleb and Bruce cannot work together. Um, I thought it was really interesting. Bruce talks about wanting to humble Caleb.
Yes. What is his survivor purpose, his journey? Because I'm really not sure. He seems to just want to like fix everyone and have everyone follow his lead the entire time, but not actually do anything.
Yeah, he is just there. I feel like in the new era of this game, like there's such a heavy focus on, you're right, like there's such a heavy focus on story. How am I going to change over the 26 days that I'm out here, which is so strange. But like, how am I as a person going to change, blah, blah, blah. Bruce is not changing. Bruce is stuck in his ways.
He wants to change everyone else.
He wants to change everybody else to fit his agenda. And that's just not working for everybody else. They're like, Bruce, you're kind of unbearable. Like, you're kind of crazy.
I do not support the Bruce agenda.
I do not support the Bruce agenda. Kelly, we talked a little bit about Kelly. She's sort of just like leading him around. Like, she's literally just like dragging him with her, I feel like.
And then he's
Bruce,
causing problems everywhere she drags him to.
I don't understand. Like, I get wanting a number, but at this point, now they're at the final 9.
He's a liability.
I'm a liability. That's me if I was Bruce, and I'm also Lord.
I can feel the Lord on this beach tonight.
In your car, the radio up. In your... the Lord is with us. Yeah, Kelly's just dragging him around. Bruce has vendettas against people. I also feel like it's a weird thing. I don't know, just something about Bruce as just like an older person in this scenario. Somebody who is on their second chance, right? Like, I feel like all the variables that are sort of like coming together to make up Bruce's experience on this season don't make sense for him to be as vindictive as he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if I'm on my second chance, like, I want to be more fluid. Like, I feel like, but he's so stuck in his ways. It's just, it's not fun. It's not fun to watch. I'm like, work with other people. Talk to other people. It's a two-way street. Divorce dadcore.
I think it was Caleb maybe who had this confessional about Bruce where he's like, it's very obvious that Bruce before this experience has only played Survivor for less than 14 hours because he is just not playing a good game and has no idea what he's doing. And like, yeah, he's a mess. But I like watching. I kind of like. Sometimes it's funny.
Every season needs a little bit of a mess. If it was all little game bots, then like that's not fun to watch. Like, we need a couple people. I was telling my friend Kellen. I was telling him that there's a couple. I
don't think you've talked about Kellen before.
Oh, he's my friend.
Oh, okay.
That's also like my roommate, but also my friend.
Okay. Now I'm caught up now.
Okay. I was telling him that it's interesting because I feel like there's a couple people, and there's a couple people who are playing a really good game right now. I feel like Austin is playing a good game. I feel like Emily is in a really good position. She shifted herself very well. I feel like Kelly's playing a pretty good game. But then we also have a couple of people who are just like not playing good games. Bruce is not doing great. Drew, I don't think, is doing extremely well. Um, yes, rest in peace, Sifu. He's still alive, but like just not in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think Sifu was playing entirely well.
What do you
Who do
think?
you?
Oh, you go first.
I was gonna ask. I brought this up. This Jake and Kelly edit that we got this episode. Who do you think is getting like a winner edit right now? I will preface this with this hard to tell in this new era. My friend Kellen, who hasn't really been watching the new era, I was kind of talking about how Kelly's been doing well, and he was like, "Really? You think Kelly's been doing well? She hasn't been really getting a great edit. Like, we haven't been seeing anything from her." And I was like, "Well, Survivor has a tendency to under edit women, specifically women that win the game. The show just has a tendency to under edit them and sort of give them this underdog storyline. So it's interesting. It's hard to tell, but I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think is sort of getting this like winner story?
I think it's tough. I definitely see Kelly getting a good. I think Kelly's getting a great edit,
I do
to
too.
be
Yeah.
honest. I think I can't tell as much about Emily. I think she's had such a great story arc. She's gotten so much screen time, especially just being on the original Lulu, that it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to tell. I can totally see this being like a Lulu loser to like being the only Lulu left to like climbing up the ranks. My
Mm.
problem with Emily is I don't think she's at this point facilitating as much as she's just trying to survive to the next day.
Yeah.
Whereas I see Kelly doing a lot more actual moves making.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I also just keep I the question I was going to ask you is like how you think D is doing in like the D and Julie situation because D also seems to be trying to make more moves and things like that. But I didn't really care for her like vendetta against Caleb for bringing her up. Like I understand being upset about it, but like she just I feel like she was taking it a little far. And
Mm-hmm.
then also Jake, I thought it was like pretty a good turn in his story where we'll get to it later, but this episode is where he's talking about how he wants to take the game into his hands and he's
Mm-hmm.
tired of being dragged along and he's ready to make moves. So,
I have a hard time with Dee and Julie. Like, I feel like they're positioned well. Um, the thing is we keep getting these stupid twists where like half of them are safe, half of them are not safe. Like, and they were running the Reba tribe, the four of them, right? And then
mhm.
they split up, and then we got these stupid little twists. So we haven't really been able to see how the are gonna work together as like a voting block, like how in time of like pressure it's actually gonna work at all yet. Like
Yeah.
because they haven't voted together literally at all. So I'm unsure. Like, I feel like Julie and Dee were both getting pretty strong pre-merge edits. I think Dee got a good episode, a good edit this episode. I don't think this was a great episode for Julie. Um, just having like being the one that was gonna get the votes. Like they decided, okay, we're willing to risk Julie to like go for this tie potentially, and hopes to
Mhm.
like switch Austin. That's just you should never like be the person that the other team is like, okay, we'll just use you like as the pawn. Like that's a little concerning. So I don't know. I feel like Austin to me is the clear. I don't even think he's like the leader. Like I think the three. I don't think Drew is leading anything in the four. I think amongst the three of them, they're doing work together. But I feel like Austin is being positioned as this like clear leader of the group.
I think because we also just kind of see Austin playing a bit more of an individual game within them.
Yes.
It feels
Yeah.
like he's doing a lot for himself and trying to position bodies so he can do what he needs to do for himself.
And he's doing it kind of seamlessly. Like
Yeah.
he has the perfect personality and perception of himself to sort of get away with this, because Austin's just like the young little jock. Like he's just like a silly guy that is like nice, and so people aren't going to necessarily consider Austin being the one who is setting shields in front of himself to prepare for the end game, when that is literally what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of pretty well. I think like the strong bros don't necessarily do well in the end game, because people know that the end portion of the game, challenge wise, is going to cater to them a little bit. Some challenges, but I think I don't know, it seems like he's prepping himself pretty well to have at least a little onion around him, some walls. So I think, yeah, I think you say a great point. Time will tell, though, now that they're going to actually be able to vote together. That all being said, let's talk about this stupid little twist, shall we? We make our way to what we think would be the first individual immunity challenge. Wrong. If you thought that, you were incorrect. We are instead splitting the 12 players, 12 survivors, on to 2 separate tribes of 6. The person lasting the longest on each of their individual tribes will win immunity, but whoever lasts the longest through the whole, like whoever is the last person standing, will win a reward of build your own tacos at the Sanctuary, a taco bar.
The Sanctuary where good things happen.
Like the taco bar. Survivor tacos. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so the winning group wins the reward of the Sanctuary. They also get the advantage of going to Tribal second, because Gagatandra, the first tribe that goes to Tribal, the player that gets voted out of that tribe will not make the jury. Only the person from the second tribe that goes will make it to jury this episode. Thoughts?
I would be so upset to not make the jury. First of all. Second, I don't like it. We've talked about before how we don't like when the game and like twists play such a big role in the game and how people play. And I think it's really frustrating to now have, this is the second tribal where they're like having been all on one beach, and then to split them up randomly, where it's like they've been working to build these alliances, and I want to see them play out. I want to see them play the game in how it's envisioned, like all of the work these people have been putting in. It feels like it just doesn't matter when it comes down to chance as much and getting split up like that. I just don't like it. I want to see them really be able to play and see how their alliances work out and like these voting blocks. And yeah, I don't like it. I feel like I could form more thoughts on like different ways to do this and still like vote 2 people out in one episode if that's like the goal of it, but I don't think these 2 groups it's not my favorite. I'm not a fan.
I agree. If you couldn't tell by me calling them stupid little twists earlier, I think it is devastating. I feel so bad for Sifu that he really had I mean, I guess technically he had control over this if he just like lasted to the very end. If he could control that hypothetically, which doesn't make sense. In reality, the fate of your game is now in a random person hanging onto a pole. Your fate in whether or not you make the jury or not, even though you're merged. Like, that's
then
so
what's the
messed
point of
up.
being merged if he doesn't get to be on the jury?
Exactly. It is so annoying. That's so devastating. And he has a little confessional after like later in the episode where he's like, making the jury is like the biggest thing I've ever wanted to do on this game, and I just feel like it's not gonna happen. That is so. That's so sad. That is so devastating. It's so sad. The twist, and I guess that's part one of the twist. Part two of the actual just splitting up, two people going home. I think you're right. Like, I think there's other ways to formulate this twist. The placement of it at the final 12 is not good. I think just like the structure of this merge like timeline, in 2 episodes we went from like 15 people to 9 people, basically 14 people to 9 people, which is crazy. You're kind of putting everybody in this like survival mode because you keep throwing all these random things around. Oh, like you won't make the merge. Oh, you won't make the jury. Like, these people aren't playing for strategy. They're not playing for the long run like we want to see them play at this point of the game. They're playing just to survive. They're playing because they just want to make the jury. And so you're making kind of for bad TV and bad gameplay because people are kind of just doing what will get them to the next step because they don't know what's going to happen. I think this is too little amount of people. Only having 6 people at this point on each tribe it's not good. Like, it, if you're gonna do a twist like this, do it with like I don't know, 7 people, 8 people, 7 people. I don't know. Just 6 people felt too small, and then like one person on each tribe being safe. Like, so that means you could only vote 5 people out. So then it's just a voting pool of 5, which is so small. Like, even smaller. It just, I don't know. If you wanted to do a 2-person elimination, I would much rather see like I don't know if they've done this on US Survivor. Maybe they've done it on Australian Survivor. I can't remember, but I know like in the orgs that I play, it's I know Survivor Production taking twists from an online Survivor game, but often a lot of people will do like live tribals, and so you'll vote somebody out and then you'll instantly go into another cycle of voting somebody out. Like, you don't have any time to like.
That would be
They've done this in
cool.
Australian Survivor. I'm pretty sure, but it's just like you vote somebody out and just like, you're not going back to camp. We're doing another vote right now. The immunity challenge is right over here. So then they have to do the immunity challenge, and then they go straight back to tribal to have to vote somebody out in like an hour like time span. And so I feel like that's a much more interesting way to do this, where it feels less finicky. It feels less like people can actually work on their alliances that they've spent all this time making.
I think that goes back to our comments about Emily earlier, or like my comments about how we don't really get to see her playing. She's just kind of surviving. Like, I want to see her working with more people, and like, she just doesn't have the opportunity.
Mm-mm.
And most of them don't have the opportunity. I really don't like it. And it's just like too much production in the game for me. I almost think it would be interesting if they voted someone out. He says, you're not going back to camp, you're voting one more person out immediately.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes. No.
No, like literally just like talk right now. You got 10 minutes to figure out who you're voting. Like, that would, the chaos that would bring, it feels production right? Because it's like over the top and it's like, this is a wild twist.
But it's natural.
It feels natural. Like, obviously they're gonna vote somebody else out eventually, but now you're just having to do it right now. Like, they do double evictions on Big Brother all the time. Mm-hmm. They'll do 2 evictions in one night. Sometimes they'll do 3 evictions in one night. So like, it works well. It's a proven well twist in another show that has a very similar format. So I would much rather see something like that if they want to eliminate 2 people in one episode than doing the stupid little tribe split twist. It doesn't.
And them not getting to go back to the same beach. Like, they're just split up. Like, they're not merged then. Don't call them merged.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Yeah. I wasn't happy with it. But let's see how these tribes split up. Random draw. I would even say, it'd be interesting if they did like a schoolyard pick. Like, imagine you got to pick who like that's a little shitty because then it's like you could really set one person up for fail. Like the one thing I will give this twist is I like that it sort of prevents a sort of early merge steamroll type situation. It makes like majority alliances split. Hypothetically, it would make like a majority alliance have to split up, figure something else out type deal. But yeah, it's not. I'm not using that to justify this twist at all. Anyway, the red team is Jake, D, Austin, Julie, Caleb, and Katura. Is that right? Katura. Yes, Katura and Kit. Yes. And then the blue tribe is Bruce, Sifu, Kendra, Kelly, Emily, and Drew. So interesting little groups, I guess. Nothing, I mean, notable from the challenge. Emily and Julie fell really quick. I was like, girl power, slay. Kelly quickly won immunity for her tribe. D won it for red. And then D won the reward, ends up winning the reward for the red tribe. So red tribe is going to be the second tribe that goes. Blue tribe is going to be the first.
I have one comment about the challenge.
Yeah.
I hated Drew on it. The way he's half the height of the pole,
No,
and the way when he was sliding down and he had his legs like stiff. He was so long, and like
he looks like a noodle.
Yeah, a wet noodle stuck to like
literally. It was not. I was like the way that you just stack two Jerus on top of each other, and that's the size of the whole pole.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Yeah, that was what was gross about it. His legs just being straight the whole time as he was falling down. I was like, this is crazy. My note from the challenge, I was like, obviously, they haven't. They've started doing more classic Survivor challenges. Last season and season 43, they did the Last Gasp challenge. Season 43
love that one.
Was the big one because Owen and Carla, they ended up like lasting longer than the tide, and so then they had to both win because there was no point in them like doing it anymore. So like I don't know, people still have like challenge performance in them, but I was watching this and I was just like, why are people bad at challenges? I'm like, I want to talk because God knows I would not be able to do this. So like, it is what it is. But also, I'm like, when Parvati did this challenge in Micronesia, I think, that famous, like the clip of her literally hanging with one arm, and like, have you seen that? And she's just like hanging off of it. I'm like, what is going on?
I feel like Dee was onto something with the like hanging.
I forgot about Dee's toes.
Yeah, she didn't use them.
She did use them.
Really? Dee?
Is it her big toes or is it all of her toes?
I think it's. I don't know.
I
saw her just like. It looked like she just had her legs crisscross applesauce around the pole, and her arms were like.
I think she used her toes for a little. I don't know. I saw a tweet after that was like, "Who knew that a silly little like clip from pre-merge episode about Dee's toes was going to be so referential and important for us later?"
Maybe they were. I don't know. I was kind of bored with this challenge.
I was bored of the challenge. I also was not like hyper fixated on her toes. So
no.
I know it's a crime. Sue me. I don't. I don't. Yes. So Blue Tribe is going back to the old Lulu camp, which just I don't know. I mean, I guess it's to keep them separated, obviously. But like the Lulu Tribe, you couldn't even send them to the Bubble Tribe. There's nothing on the Lulu Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julie. Okay, so now we're cutting to the sanctuary. They're all chit-chatting, having a good time eating tacos at the taco bar at the sanctuary, the Survivor Sanctuary, where they're eating tacos at the taco bar. Do you think they had margaritas? Were they drinking margs?
I didn't notice.
I love a blended strawberry margarita.
From Applebee's?
This is a safe space. From Applebee's. Yeah, no marks. The chips and guac I thought looked good.
I feel like it would all be good at that point,
Just
but
anything.
I just don't
Yeah.
think it just wasn't exciting to me. It didn't stick out to me.
There's a confessional from Julie where she's just like, are trying to. People I think were starting to reference the vote, and we cut to a confessional from Julie, and Julie's just like, aren't we all just voting Caleb?
Yeah.
He he can't play a shot in the dark again. Can that not just be the vote that we do? And then this is where we hear from Jake, from what you were saying earlier. Jake doesn't want to. Jake doesn't want a shield. Or wait, Jake wants a shield. He doesn't want to do what everybody else is doing. He thinks that Caleb would be the perfect fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
Is Caleb a good shield?
I don't think so. I don't think no. He's just an easy vote, is what he is.
I feel like like one of the key I don't know things of a shield. I guess some shields are really high targets. That's one of the reasons. But I feel like you need somebody that like. Okay, no, because the two things I'm about to say are going to contradict themselves. Like you want somebody that isn't going to be. Okay, no, this is what it is. You want somebody that's a target that clearly people have their eyes on them. But like you don't want somebody that's like
Talking to literally everyone.
yes, like somebody that's actively playing the game.
Yes,
Like
I don't like that Kelly's using Bruce necessarily as a shield that way, but at least he's consistently causing problems and like has a
yes,
target, but he's not really being strategic. Where Caleb
no,
is actively trying to play the game in ways that
yes,
most of them aren't,
including Jake. Jake does
including
not
Jake.
have the leverage that Caleb has. So
He's
Caleb is not.
way too social. Caleb is way too social and willing to bounce around enough that like you cannot predict him.
Yeah, I don't think Jake. This is Caleb had a really good pre-merge.
Mm-hmm.
This post-merge was not good for him.
Yeah.
But Jake, this was not a great episode for Jake, just like strategy wise. I think Jake and Caleb both instigated each other in a way that they sort of got it's like an echo chamber. They're like, no, that's a really good idea. No, besties, it's not. They Jake wants to use Caleb as a shield, and then we cut to Drew, who on okay, no, I keep messing up. There's too many K names and too many J names. I keep looking at my notes and I keep messing
And
them up.
also with them being split up, I don't even remember who was on what tribe.
See, that's why I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, is this the right like are these the right names? And then I'm having it's anyway, they are
And
the right
also,
names.
I want to say it's confusing with how they were bouncing back and forth and stuff.
Yes.
It was really hard to tell the difference of which was which group.
It was hard. But we cut to Drew, we're now with the Blue Tribe, and Drew is down to take out Bruce. Because he knows Bruce. There's numbers to like blindside him, basically. Oh wait, Drew wants to take out Bruce, but knows Bruce has those numbers. Oh, wants to take out Bruce. That's what the note was. Drew would rather take out Bruce, but tells Bruce that he's down to vote out Sifu because Drew knows that he won't have the numbers to vote Bruce out. Drew would like to use the safety without power, but he left his little bag at camp. So now he's just stuck. This would have been the perfect tribal to play a safety without power. I feel like, because then it's not just like sitting burning in your pocket. And I feel like you could justify it, like if Austin's like, why did you play it? Because you can sort of like plan around it. I feel like this would be a good time to get an advantage out of your pocket and not have any major repercussions. Because I feel like it makes sense on why you would be using like advantages.
Yeah.
But all for naught because he was this silly little boy who just left his bag at camp. So sucks to suck, I guess. I don't. we see a group of Kendra, Emily, Drew, and Sifu talking, and they're down to get Brucey Boy out.
Mm-hmm.
This may be his time. Who knows? JK, because Bruce has, like, what is it called? He's not clairvoyant. That is not the word that I want to use. Bruce can feel people talking about him, and he goes up to... Is it Katura? I literally don't know.
No,
he goes up to Kelly. Bruce goes up to Kelly and says, I know Kendra is talking about me right now and trying to get me out.
Oh, yeah.
And so Bruce is feeling it. He's feeling that he's getting a little bit of heat. And he tells Kelly, I'm going to use my idol if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And that stresses Kelly out a little bit.
Yeah.
She's just like, leave it. Like, stop.
She's like, I don't think that you need to do that right now.
No, like, I think you could use it later. Definitely not right now. Like, that would just mess everything up.
Yeah.
We said this earlier, but, what was I just gonna say? We said it earlier, but I've never seen, like, Bruce is, for a player that is stirring up stuff, Bruce is so paranoid, like, unjustified. Like, how are you falling for what you're doing yourself? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, he's playing himself.
He is playing himself. Like, I don't get it. He's setting himself up for, I don't know. It's karma. Karma is coming back to him bad. And he's scared and he's worried.
It's so funny.
It's so, he's just like, and he's holding these vendettas. Like, Kelly describes it really. I think Kelly was a great narrator this episode. I loved seeing this tribal from her perspective. Just being like, she's like, I can't do it. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to keep him together. Like, he won't just like sit still and like do what I need him to do.
He would stress me out. If I were Kelly, I would be like losing my mind. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
I would have to vote him out. Like, I feel like I would get rid of him. I could not, for my own like sanity, keep him around. Like, that is so stressful for no reason.
Like, he's making her paranoid for no reason.
Literally, and at that point, I'm like, you're not doing anything good for me.
No.
Get your ass out of here. It's not good, and he's like, I just don't think he understands. Like, I feel like he is the type of person to be like, I don't know why people don't like me.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't get it. Fully, consistently telling people what to do with their time, consistently micromanaging everybody's relationships, consistently being paranoid and not listening to anybody. And I know he'd be the type of person to just be like, I don't get it. Why does Katura not like me? Why does Caleb not like me?
Well, and people keep trying to come to him and be like, let's work together, let's do this. And he's like, no, you. Like, and then he's like, they need to earn my trust. It's not just going to happen. Pick it up. This is Survivor. Or do you really trust? I don't think I could actually ever trust anyone there.
You met Kelly 20 days ago. Or not even 20. You met her 14 days ago, and you trust her with your life, but you can't get to know Caleb a little bit.
Or Emily.
Or Emily.
Anyone, or Kendra.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Who?
Kendra.
Oh,
she was trying to work with him.
You like cut out when you say it. I thought you said Topanga, and I was like, that is not
this show.
Not this show, bestie. So is a bunch of jumping around basically. So now we're back with the Red Tribe. Dee wants to get rid of Caleb because Caleb threw her and Julie's name out. Jake again is done being told what to do. He wants to control the vote. And so Caleb and Jake get together. And Caleb says, this is the plan. We're going to tell Katura about the idol. About Bruce's idol.
They're so stupid.
Jake says, I don't think we should. And Caleb's like, no, like, it'll work. Caleb, the love of my life. What are you doing?
It was a tough watch. It was painful to watch.
I was like, and the thing was, is Jake fully was like, I don't, and Caleb was like, no trust.
I know.
They're in their own little echo chamber. They're just hyping each other up. Boys will be boys.
And then, like, Caleb, when he told Katura, didn't include the info. Like, Jake then included all of the information that he definitely did not need to.
Need to.
Because she
No.
didn't. With Caleb, she seemed like, okay, that's super annoying, but like, whatever. But then with Jake explaining, oh yeah, we fully like set up this elaborate little plan where I was fake looking for my rings, blah blah blah. And then it really sets in. She's like, oh no, this was like intentional. They did not want me to know. They actively lied to me about it. It's not something they were hiding. It's something they were involved in.
Because she has one brain cell and is able to put two and two together.
Like,
I'm like, yeah.
What was bad idea, Caleb? 1, 2, Jake, shut it.
Shut the fuck up.
Stop talking.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Like, I was fully like, girl. And then, okay, we'll get to this later when she flips. But I'm like, it's not crazy that she flipped.
No.
Okay, well, no, let's get it. Oh no, we'll talk. I'll ask you the question later. Okay, so more importantly, over all of this, we have our first flashback, or flash forward. I guess.
Has this ever happened before?
I believe it has not. I think this is the first flash forward Survivor has ever had.
That was exciting.
I was interested in what was going to happen. We get the flash forward, and not Bruce. It was Jake. I don't know why I wrote Bruce. Jake is explaining the plan to the audience. This is like in his confessional. So the plan is that Jake, Caleb, and Katurah were gonna vote Julie. Julie D and who? Julie D and Austin were gonna vote. We're gonna vote Caleb. It would be a 3-3 tie. They would go to a revote, stick together on the revote, then they would force rocks. Or it would force rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Caleb would then be safe, Julie would then be safe, and am I doing this right?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
D would be safe, Julie would be safe, and Caleb would be safe because D has immunity, and Julie and Caleb were the split votes, and so then that would leave Austin. God damn it, Austin. Oh, I don't know.
We can move on. I can't.
It's Austin, Jake, and Katurah. Austin, Jake, and Katurah. Those three would be the ones that they would either have to come to a consensus or they would have to go to rocks.
Yes.
And they were betting on black. They were betting on black that Austin would flip. They say Austin's timid. Austin's scared in the game. He is not going to go to rocks. He's not going to place all of his bets that the rock wouldn't get him. They were going to bet that Austin would flip on Julie and vote out Julie, and Caleb would be safe, and they would live another day. This is a stupid plan.
They're stupid.
This is so.
They have one shared brain cell.
I think Caleb plays a great social game. His social game was unmatched in the pre-merge. The strategy in the last 2 episodes gagged and gooped down. Why would you ever want to go to rocks? I guess Caleb in that sense would be safe, so it would be Jake. No, I would never force rocks if I didn't have to.
No.
That sounds so stupid.
Yes.
And you're betting that Austin is going to flip on one of his closest allies? One of his numbers?
Caleb deserved to go home.
I was like, this is a stupid plan. I'm not Albert Einstein. I'm not Sandra Diaz-Twine. I'm not Tony Vlachos. This was a stupid plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gagged.
He was just so good in the pre-merge that, like, he had nothing left.
He burned all of his juice. All of the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not great. But that was the flash forward. So now the audience is in on the plan, and we're watching as this goes on. We're watching the actual tribal play out as Jake is describing it, and so we see it actually happening, but the question is whether or not it'll actually like come to fruition, which is I think is interesting. I don't know. I feel like as a super fan, as somebody who I feel like I'm familiar with like the tells of the editing, I felt like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I know this plan isn't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would they spoil the plan?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was fun to watch just because I hadn't seen it. But
yes,
yeah, I don't really think it added much.
I think it was interesting. I'm glad that they're still. I'm glad 45 seasons in, they're still playing around with how they're gonna produce the actual show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's refreshing, and I feel like for a general audience member, it's super slay fun. They're like, oh, what's gonna happen? But I was just like, there's no way that they just gave away like what you know. But
Mm-hmm.
it was cute. I liked it. It was fresh. Does Oh yeah, so this is the question. Does Katura trust her alliance? Jake and Caleb really set her up for the bottom. So you're in Katura's shoes. We talked about the stupid move. You're in Katura's shoes. Are you jumping ship?
If I was her, I don't think she has any real strong alliances, and I think she knows that. And I, on the one hand, it's like, oh, these people are obviously stupid. Like, let me maybe try and manipulate them. But I don't think she's like interested in paying that much attention to them at this point. So yeah, if I was her, I'd just jump. I'd be done. And like, they clearly don't really know what they're doing, and like, their little echo chamber is kind of a problem, and I wouldn't want to be involved. Like, she can see they're making stupid decisions. I'm not gonna follow that. Like, why would they do this? Why would they tell me like this?
I feel like this was the sort of the big question of this episode. Like this was what people have been talking about on like Twitter for the last 24 hours. They're like, what was it a smart move, yes or no? If I was in Katura's shoes in a game that has a heavy percentage based on like luck and
Mm-hmm.
chance, I would rather take the chance. I know I'm on the bottom of the Bellows now. I know that the whole Bellow tribe plus Caleb single-handedly put me on the outs because they did not want me to know about this idol. I know
Mm-hmm.
they don't trust me and I know they don't want to work with me. I know that for a fact because that is what happened. I would rather take the chance and jump ship to the Rebas who want numbers and risk being on the bottom of their tribe and maybe getting some sort of crack or getting some sort of crack within the Bello tribe and working my way back into them. I would rather take that risk and see if that has any payoff than me than just sit on the bottom of the Bello tribe waiting to be cut.
Yeah, I don't think at this point with the Bello tribe there's any point in trying to like get ahead or get on top with them.
I think Jake and Caleb well, not I think, I know, because that's how it was shown. They unintentionally just showed the cards to Katura, where I feel like Kelly and Kendra, I don't know why I'm getting this energy, but I feel like Katura's position on the original Bello tribe is probably what Jemaya's position was on the original Reba tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just sort of like keeping her in the loop to keep her in the loop, keep her for numbers. But nobody actually like had, I don't know, wanted. I feel like she was better positioned than Jemaya it was. Um, but I think it's, I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see if it was the good move or not.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor's all about hindsight, so we'll have to see. But I think it's an interesting move, shake up the game, and I think it's just an interesting move for her. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we get our little confessional from Sifu that I brought up earlier. Sifu can tell he's on the bottom, and Sifu really wants to make the jury. It would make Sifu sad if Sifu does not make the jury.
We love a third person
I love third person
narrator.
He was actually it felt very like I don't want to talk on him because obviously I only know him as a TV persona, but this confessional felt very genuine where I feel like we haven't gotten that genuineness from him throughout the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was the first time I feel like I heard from him in a long time where it wasn't just him pushing a button and repeating the same thing.
Doing his air guitar.
Yeah, or
Um, Bruce cannot get over other people. He's too good of a shield for them. Kelly is making it seem like it's best for Ken. Okay, so I thought this conversation was interesting. I was sort of trying to like analyze it as it was happening. I felt Kelly and Kendra had this conversation where Kelly is trying to convince Kendra to vote out to keep Bruce because Kendra was one of the original people on this little 6-person tribe trying to do it. And I felt like Kelly was doing a really good job being like, it's best for us to keep Bruce. It's best for us. And then, like, best for you. Like, it'll be good for you. It'll be good for us, not good for her. And I feel like it cuts to Kendra being like, keeping Bruce is good. Like, we should, like, maybe keep Bruce. Kelly is doing a really good job, I feel like, moving some pieces. I feel like I'm getting really good. Did you watch One World, Kim Spradlin?
yes.
I feel like I'm just like, I don't know if she's at Kim Spradlin's level, but I feel like I'm low-key, because Kim is like one of the best winners of the whole show. I feel like I'm low-key getting Kim Spradlin vibes. I don't know. I haven't watched that season in a while, so I could be wrong, but
I see what you're talking about. I definitely
Yeah.
think Kelly is doing a really good job selling it as like, just like, this benefits you.
yeah.
Join me.
Join me because it benefits you.
Yeah.
And Kendra ate that up. She was like, no, you're right. It does benefit me. And I'm putting myself first because I'm a Virgo.
And she's a Libra.
Oh, is that what she is? I'm so sorry. Please, I'm sorry, please. I'm gonna get between the eyes for
no,
that.
you cannot say that.
What? Just bleep it. The horoscope girls don't play. The horoscope girls do not play.
Oh my god. So graphic.
Kendra, please.
Kendra, I love my family.
Please. My family. Kendra, I have 3 kids. Kendra.
You really cried a lot this episode.
I'm just like I'm just an empath. I'm just like an emotional person. It's happening again. Scene. What else happened this episode of Survivor? Bruce, okay, you brought this up earlier, which I think is like, you're so smart and you're just so pretty and smart and you just know things. Why Bruce is concerned because Kendra out of nowhere wants to work with him.
Yeah. He's like, that's a problem.
He said, this is a problem. Why does Kendra... He's like talking to Kelly. And it's like, Kelly, I'm concerned. Kendra out of nowhere hasn't been talking to me at all. Suddenly out of nowhere wants to work with me and keep me safe. I wrote, there's only 6 people on this tribe, idiot. Like, I don't know. What do you want her to do? Not talk to you? Not like, I don't get it. What do you want?
If I were Kelly, I'd be like, I'd break down and be like, how can you not get this in your big stupid head?
Your head that cracked open like an egg last season. How can you not get it?
Yeah. Shake him.
Shake him. Literally be like, it's
What
not
is
that
wrong?
fucking hard. It's not that hard. I'm trying so hard to save you. I would break down if I would start screaming at him. I'd be like, just let me get the votes to save you. Just let me do what I need to do. Oh my god. Like, I don't get it.
No.
And then he gets paranoid. He's like, I might play my idol. Because Kendra wants to save me. What?
I have no words.
Literally have no words. I just, like, Kelly at this point, is it like it's
No,
not?
no.
It's
The
not
answer is no.
worth it. It's not worth it. Bruce is not like he cannot be worth all. I don't know. Maybe Bruce is going to be a really key piece later, and at that point, I'll stick my fist in my mouth because I what do I know? But there is no way that Bruce is going to be this important to Kelly's game that she has to put up with this. Like I couldn't. That's where I'm a bad Survivor player because I just would be like, you're annoying me. Your ass is grass. You are going home.
Yeah, me too.
So that's where we're at going into tribal. I was realizing this as tribal was starting. I didn't think Emily got a single confessional this episode. Maybe she got one as we were talking about it when her and Caleb did the initial conversation after the merge vote and that first morning after. Maybe she got one, but I didn't think she didn't get a single like strategy based one.
No. Did she get... I feel like she got one earlier in the episode, though, where she was talking about, like, the move, like, deciding to go with Drew and Austin instead.
Yeah.
But
I
that
think
might have
more
been
when
it.
I think that was it. And I think I was more referencing, like, in the landscape. In the second part of the episode where the actual strategy for this
I don't
vote
think so.
was happening.
It was a quiet episode for her.
It was, and I wrote Slay under the radar queen.
Oh.
Just keep going. I mean,
guess.
if nobody hates, the good thing is nobody left in the game hates her. Like nobody other
Except
than Bruce,
which he hates everyone. So
literally, so
at this point, if he doesn't hate you, you're not playing hard enough.
Literally, if he doesn't hate you, then you're just not playing the basic game of Survivor.
Yeah, unless you're Kelly. Like, yeah.
So we go into the blue tribal. This tribal, the person that gets voted out will not be making jury. Nothing really like exciting happens.
No.
I was a little annoyed. Sifu says that he knows he's a threat.
That was gonna be my next comment. That was my favorite part of that tribal. It was so funny.
Like what?
I know I'm a threat.
To who? The palm trees that you keep attacking? To the coconuts? The machete?
But yeah, I want to be that level of delusional. He was running the game, we just didn't get to see it.
No, like guys, I don't think you understand. Like he is gonna come back and win the game.
Sifu he just said Sifu knows he's a threat.
Sifu knows Sifu's a threat. Bruce says that he feels a similar knot in his stomach that Sifu describes. Sifu's like, I know I'm a threat, I'm gonna go home. And Bruce says, I feel the same way. Can you just not shut up? Do you never shut up? Not me talking to this grown ass man who literally has kids probably close to our age, and I'm just like, will you shut up?
I wonder how his kids feel.
This is why I can't be on Survivor. The way that I would just shit talk people who are literally twice my age, and I'd just be like, like stop talking.
But
like,
also, I know you have the most funny confessionals.
I have a tendency to make grown adults cry. Maddie has bared witness.
We'll tell that story another day.
Yeah, it was interesting. Emily's doing a good job keeping her mouth shut, because I know day one Emily would be saying shit if people were like, Sifu being like, I know I'm a threat, and Bruce saying all this stuff about like not trusting people, blah blah blah. I know day one Emily would have said something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think we're seeing good progression. I'm just on the Emily train still. Like I feel like we're gonna get our Emily Renaissance soon. It'll be really good. Bruce doesn't end up playing his idol, and then
I wish he would have.
I wish he would have too. Sifu goes bye bye. the last member of the pre-jury.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I'm not really sad that he's leaving.
Yeah, I'm not devastated about it. I do have one problem with Kelly this episode.
Yeah.
Why did she spell Sifu's name Seafou?
I love seeing how people spell each other's names.
That is criminal.
Okay, I don't know how I would spell it if I hadn't seen it in writing first.
Okay, but people like, I guess she spelled it phonetically. She didn't even spell it phonetically. Like I would, if I was spelling it phonetically, I would have done Seafoo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But a lot of people got it right. I don't know what Kelly was on, but she just wanted to be extra safe.
I think if I were on Survivor, I would intentionally spell people's names as crazy as possible.
Me on Survivor going up to vote Sifu. I'm walking up to the voting booth, but before I get up there, I turn around and I go, Sifu, how do you spell your name? Walk away. That's, yeah. Name, that was crazy. I was fully gagged. Then we go to the Red Tribe, and nothing really, like, of importance happens, like, during the tribal. It kind of just, like, happens. We're on the edge of the seat as, like, an audience, though, because we had already seen the tribal, right? Like, we had already known how it was, like, gonna play out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was basically a waiting game to see whether Couture was gonna flip or not. I knew she was gonna flip. I was like, there's no way she's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just bad gameplay all around from Caleb and Jake this episode. And Couture ends up flipping.
Mm-hmm.
The flip happens. Caleb ends up going home. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised?
No.
No. I'm really excited. I hope this is a good stepping stone for Couture. Like, I hope positive things come out of this for her.
Your winner pick.
That's my winner pick. Your winner pick left 3 episodes in, so I wouldn't be doing a lot of talking over there.
Also, Caleb was my number 2, so.
My number 2 was Brando. Let's see. Should we do a draft? Let's do a draft recap now that we're at the merge. How about that?
Okay.
Let me pull up I have a little cheat sheet. Hold on. Okay. So.
With all of mine too?
Yes.
Okay.
We both have 4 people left in our drafts.
Okay, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it's been going back and forth. So I had Brando. Oh no, you had Hannah. I had Brando. Oh,
Brandon.
but then you had Brandon. Sorry, yes. Well, I did also have Brando. I had Brando and Brandon.
Yeah, I was just going in order.
So Hannah, Brandon, and then you did have Sabaya, and then Sean. But then I had Brando and J Maya. And then I had Sifu, and you had Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
So the people left in the game, I have Couture, Austin, Kelly, Emily, and Bruce. I feel like I got a pretty good draft. You have Julie, Jake, Dee, Kendra, and Drew left.
I've got the underdogs.
We'll have to see. To see. I don't know. Drew might pull it out.
Crazy.
Okay, so the last thing that happens, Caleb gets voted out 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb gives Jake a hug. Caleb goes, and Jake looks at Julie and says, I was the one to flip.
Mm-hmm.
It was me. And she does not look happy.
He just can't shut his mouth.
He cannot shut his Boston mouth.
Not the time.
What is it? Wicked. He says wicked a lot.
Yeah.
I can't I can do a Boston accent that sounds like Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, the remix.
Yeah. but it's just a Jennifer Coolidge impression.
Is she from Boston?
No, I can do a Jennifer Coolidge impression.
Okay. We know.
Okay, that's basically it. That's the episode. We see the fast forward to next episode. The auction is back. Yeah.
So excited! Can I speak my truth?
Yeah.
I didn't like this episode.
It was. The twist was not great. The gameplay was not great.
It was hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the challenge was fine, but I wasn't particularly interested in it. I feel like so much of it was just this like going back and forth between these groups that I didn't want in these groups, and I had a hard time remembering who was in what group.
Mm-hmm.
And the tribals were not interesting.
Mm-mm.
Overall, I thought this was my least favorite episode of the season so far.
I would agree. It was hard. It was just not. There was nothing fun. We've waited this long. We're 7 episodes in, and we haven't seen them vote as a group yet. Like that's it. That's basically it.
Yeah.
We can just wrap it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like this episode really either. So, but I feel like it'll pick up now that we're gonna be actually hopefully merged, and it'll be all good.
Yeah.
That's it?
Period.
Slay. Well, if you like this episode, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. That's so silly, so fun. We have our social medias, our Twitter, our TikTok. We're low-key TikTok. We're micro-influencers at this point on TikTok. So catch us while we're still small. We're on Instagram at MakingFirePod. And that's basically it.
Yeah. I'm excited for next episode in the auction.
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Bye.